Okay, this is going to be a clunky video because I can't really get to the places I need to get to without a bit of wrestling around and probably muttering. So yes, I am a doser. That probably incurs the wrath of most modern reefers who I think, mostly align themselves to that if you can't test for it, you shouldn't dose for it, or you shouldn't dose it. Although, of course, these days, with some of these new tests, you actually can test for it. So, I dose quite a few things to my tank. I do use a calcium reactor for the big three, and at least in theory, some of the trace elements. But I also like to have the ability to use a doser to add elements, judiciously. My dosing station had been a disaster. Much of my fish room actually is a disaster, but the dosing station had been even more of a disaster, in part because as I've evolved the fish room, the ability to actually access the dosing canisters got harder and harder. So I'm currently on a mission to update some of my equipment. I've been building my own acrylic tubes and acrylic cylinders and acrylic reactors. So I thought I would build a new dosing station. So you can see it mostly here. It's 6 smaller canisters that hold about a gallon, 2 larger ones in the rear that hold about 2 gallons. The 2 larger ones are for alkalinity and calcium. As I said, even though the majority of my system requirement is from the calcium reactor, I do like to have the ability to supplement with 2-part if I have to make some sort of gross adjustments up or down. What I do routinely is, you can see even though I'm an Apex guy mostly, I do use the GHL doser. So I do have the GHL doser set to add modest amounts of alkalinity and calcium to the system, but I can scale those up and down as necessary. The other 6 tubes, one is magnesium, which actually triggers when the 2-part cylinders are empty, and that is simply run through a Tom's Aqualifter, which you can see there, kind of snuck in behind the GHL doser. The other 5 smaller cylinders then are iron, potassium, sort of trace elements, iodine and strontium. I have some very nice labels on each of the cylinders, so I can remember which is which. But these now, because they hold about a gallon, it's heavily diluted with RODI. So even were something to go amiss, and an entire cylinder's worth got added over the course of an hour or two, it still wouldn't affect the system all that much. Nice lids on the top that actually fit. The way that this works is I've got float switches in each of the cylinders. You can sort of see the wiring underneath. The peristaltic pump pulls out of each cylinder from the bottom. So there are small barb fittings on the bottom, and so the feed to the peristaltic pump comes out of the bottom of the cylinder. Even though my acrylic fabrication skills are getting better, I still don't entirely trust myself to drill into the sides of the cylinders. I'd hate to crack one. They're quite expensive. So I went through the bottom, both for the float switches and for the feed to the peristaltic pump. I like the GHL doser. I went with that rather than the other choices, mainly because it was deemed to be quite reliable, and as a cost per dosing head was a bit more economical than the Apex. I do now have a Trident, nestled in back here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Now that I have a Trident, I don't initially plan, at least, to use the Trident to control dosing. I may get there at some point, and if I do, obviously I'll have to get an Apex for the alkalinity and calcium components. So input into the doser from the bottom of the cylinders. The lines then go into the sump. The only flaw in the plan was that these new cylinders are a little higher up than they had previously been. Oh dear. Just get that aligned done. A little higher than they had been, so actually the contents will siphon out if you're not careful. The GHL doser has 3 rollers per head, which basically prevents a siphon. But that is a bit of a flaw in the plan here. I may make an adjustment down the road, and instead of having the output of the doser going into the sump, I may actually have it go up into I have a small remote deep sand bed up here. If I route, I have the magnesium line routed up there actually, because the aqualifter pump doesn't do a particularly good job of preventing back siphon. But I may do the rest of the lines up there as well if in fact I find that I have some siphoning problems. But like I said, I don't think I will. The GHL doser, the little pump heads are actually pretty good at preventing back siphons. So that is my new dosing station. No major design flaws that I've discovered so far. So hopefully you found this video at least marginally interesting. Happy reaping.